Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about the brand new Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. This palette was launched on July 25th, which is the day that I ordered it, and it was delivered to my apartment here in New Mexico several days ago, but I've been home in Maryland and I didn't pick it up from FedEx until yesterday. So that is why this video is kind of on the later side, but anyway. So if you don't already know, this palette kind of created a little bit of controversy. It's basically the sister palette to their Modern Renaissance, and the Modern Renaissance is probably one of the best-selling palettes ever. It's consistently raved about. It has very good reviews. It's one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. I love the warm tones in this. They blend super easily. They're very creamy. Yeah, they do have a lot of fallout. They're very powdery eyeshadows, but because I typically do my eye makeup first, that fallout doesn't really bother me that much. I just work with it. It's easy to wipe it away. Now, when this palette was first revealed, this palette was very hyped up, and not gonna lie, I was super excited to get this. As soon as I saw the shadows in here, I was like, I have to have that, because it's pretty much unlike any other eyeshadow palette that I own. Now, the colors in here are, in my opinion, very much fall-like. They are more cool-toned versus the Modern Renaissance, which is very much warm-toned. And I like how they created such a different and unique palette. I really like the artistic creativity of this. I love the dark, cool tones in here. I think Norvina did a really, really good job. Now, with that said, I think because of the success of this one, people expected this one to be essentially the same, just with different colored shadows. Now, I expected that too when I purchased this, and it wasn't until a few days after I placed my order that all these reviews started surfacing, and it was pretty much negative review after negative review after negative review. However, there are other reviews and other YouTubers that liked this palette. It worked for them. They didn't have any issues with it. It wasn't super powdery. They didn't have a ton of fallout everywhere. They were able to blend it. So I don't know if it was just certain batches were bad or if they're all bad. I don't know. So what I'm gonna do for you guys today is, I haven't actually used any of these shadows yet. I'm sorry if my voice sounds really raspy right now. I actually have a pretty bad sore throat. I'm hoping I'm not getting sick after being on an airplane. I don't know. It's probably allergy related. My allergies seem to be worse in New Mexico than in Maryland. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Anyway, so I apologize in advance. But yeah, I have only swatched a couple of these, and so far, I mean, they swatched okay. I didn't have any issues with them, but the real problem that people were having is when you dip your brush in, powder goes everywhere, and then when you place it on your eyes, the colors just didn't really blend out like they should have. So I will be testing this out for you guys. Now, despite all of the negative reviews and comments that I've seen on this palette, I'm going to do my best to not let that cloud my judgment. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. If I do not like it, if it's not working for me, I'm going to let you know. And yeah, and I honestly hate to do this, but if I think this palette sucks, then I will be returning it to get my money back until I know for sure that they have fixed the issue, they fixed the formula, whatever the problem was. I would repurchase this in the future if I knew that whatever problems there were have been fixed. So, because I love the shades in here that much. But yeah, if you guys want to see my demo and my overall thoughts on this palette, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I went ahead and did my foundation first. Now, I typically don't do my face makeup first because I just don't want to deal with any fallout that I have, and especially when I use the Modern Renaissance palette, there's a ton of fallout all the time, and it's just easier to do my eyes first and then my face makeup. But for the sake of this video, and for the sake of time, I went ahead and put my foundation and concealer on first. I really just wanted to show you guys that if these shadows are super powdery and there is a lot of fallout and I get frustrated at all, or if it's just not working for me, I want you guys to see that. So that's the main reason why I went ahead and did my foundation and concealer first. So the first thing I'm going to do is prime my eyelids, and I'm just going to go in and use my MAC Prep and Prime 24-Hour Extend Eye Base. This is pretty much the only eyeshadow primer that I ever use. So if these shadows don't work with this primer, that is a huge flaw in my opinion, because this primer works for everything and my eyeshadows last all day, literally all day. And because this is a cream, I will be putting powder on this just so that the eyeshadows blend out easier. I always do that anyway. And I will be putting powder underneath my eyes to try and catch any fallout that I have. I know I'm gonna have fallout with this. I mean, even if I have a good Subculture palette, I always have fallout with this one, so I pretty much expect it. So I'm just going to use some translucent powder to set the primer and then also place it underneath my eyes. Now, this eyeshadow palette did come with a brush, but I never use the brushes that come in palettes like this. I just prefer to use my own just because I know how well those ones blend out. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in with the shade Dawn. Now, I know that on Anastasia's Instagram page, they did say that you have to go into these shadows with a very light hand. Don't just rub your brush in it. Because they are super powdery and super pigmented. So I'm gonna take that advice and just go in with a light hand and see what happens. Now this brush is clean, it's just stained, so yeah, there's literally nothing on it. So let's see what happens. Now, I tapped my brush in 3 times and I actually didn't really get that much kick up, so hopefully that's a good sign. Now I'm starting to get more kick up the more I dip my brush into it, so oh yeah. It is pigmented, but I am starting to get concerned with the amount of kick up I'm now getting and the amount of excess that I'm having to tap off. So I'm a little nervous because I don't, let me show you guys what's happening. So yeah, it's starting to get kind of everywhere. And when I tap it off, I mean, that's a lot of powder. So, you know, I expect there to be some fallout. I mean, that's natural with eyeshadows, but to have that much excess fallout, it's, when you pay $42 for something, you don't really want to have to waste a lot. I mean, you want it to be able to last and not go through the pans very quickly. So I'm trying to be optimistic about this, but I don't know, we'll see. And I don't know if you can see this, but the powder started getting into this shadow right here. I'm not a fan of that, because, you know, when you use shadows, you don't want them to mix together. You want them to be, or at least I do, I want them to be nice and clean. I don't want to have to get random streaks of different colors. I mean, I don't know. I'm still trying to be optimistic here. So, the next shade I'm going to go in with is the shade Roxy. I know this was one of the shades that people had a lot of issues with. I mean, they had issues with pretty much every shade in here, but I know this one seems to be very troublesome for a lot of people, so we shall see. And I'm going to go ahead and clean off my brush and use the same one again. And I know one of the major issues that people had with this palette was the shadows just didn't really want to blend seamlessly like other eyeshadow palettes, or I mean like the Modern Renaissance. The shadows in that palette blend so easily and it's very seamless and just beautiful. And I know that a lot of people were having issues with the shadows in this palette because they just, it's almost like they oxidize. So what you see in the palette wasn't really what you were seeing on your eyes. And obviously that's a big problem. So I'll let you guys know if I see any changing colors or oxidation or just in general having issues blending. This is so weird. I don't know if this is gonna show up on camera, but this area right here is like not wanting to blend out. I'm gonna go ahead and use a different brush. I don't know. I'm gonna try to use a fluffy brush to see if I can blend this out, but is it, I don't know if it's just me and I'm crazy, but it almost looks like this got darker, even though I didn't use a darker shade. I don't know if it's gonna show up, but this section right here is doing the same thing. it's looking a lot darker. It's also not really wanting to blend like I was hoping it would. Oh. I'm going to keep going, but maybe something good will happen, but I don't know if you guys will be able to see this on camera, but it's a little bit patchy on both sides, and that is one of my biggest pet peeves. If it's not blending very well, I'm just gonna get frustrated. And you know, I don't have a lot of time in the mornings to get ready. I'm a pharmacy student. I have to get up early in the mornings. I mean, right now I'm on summer break, but classes are gonna be starting soon in like 2 weeks, and if I want to use this palette, I don't want to have to spend forever trying to blend everything out the way I want it to blend. So yeah, right now I'm a little heartbroken. I really, really wanted this palette to be one of the good ones, but right now it's not really doing anything for me. So the next shade I'm going to use is the shade All Star, which is like a purpley reddish color. And I'm just going to put this in my outer V and pray that this actually works. Oh boy. You know, I love how pigmented these shadows are, but I am having a hard time blending them. And that really makes me sad. Honestly, it just looks muddy right in my crease here. I don't know if you can see it any better, but it's being very difficult to work with. It's very patchy. So the next shade I'm going to use is the shade Adorn. It's kind of like a metallic shimmer, and I'm just going to see if that goes on easily or not. And I'm not wetting my brush just yet. I'm just going to see how this applies dry and then how it applies wet. Literally like nothing. So let me get my Fix Plus. So I just wet my brush with Fix Plus, and I'm gonna go in to that same shade Adorn and see if it applies any better, because there was literally nothing when I used a dry brush. It's really, honestly, not as pigmented as I thought it was going to be. I'm pretty underwhelmed by this, actually. It's not really wanting to go on very well. It's almost like my brush feels sticky with this eyeshadow. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like actually kind of hard to apply this, because it just doesn't want to go on, and it's almost like every time I use brush strokes, it's like wiping it away. gonna go in with that shade All-Star again, that purpley shade, purple reddish shade, and see if I can blend this out any better. Oh my god. What the heck? Yeah, this seriously just doesn't want to blend. I don't think I've ever been so frustrated putting on eyeshadow in my life. Like, this seriously makes me want to cry. Because the shadows in here are so beautiful. I love the colors in here. But, oh boy, do they need work. I really hope that they fix this because I had really high hopes for this palette and I really wanted to use these shades, but right now I'm not impressed. Not impressed. I don't know if you can see this, but it is so patchy, it looks muddy, it just doesn't look pretty. And you should see the fallout that I have on my tissue down here, just from tapping off my brush. And I went in with a light hand, so it's not like I just dug my brush in and went to town. Yeah, what I'm noticing is when you layer shadows, especially in your crease, like your transition shades and whatnot, they don't want to blend seamlessly. They end up being patchy. And the other thing that I'm noticing too is the mattes and the shimmer metallic shade don't really want to blend together either. I don't know what's going on with this palette. I'm pretty upset by it because I was so excited. I was so excited for this. But anyway, let me try and complete this look for you guys. Okay, so for my lower lash line, I'm gonna go in and use this dark teal shade in Axis. And I'm gonna put this close to my lower lash line. Oh my gosh. That had a lot of kick up. Holy crap. There's like literally powder everywhere right now. So because I want to use as many colors in here as possible, I'm going to go in and take the shade Untamed and put that on top of shade Axis that I just placed. even though I tapped my brush off, I still got fallout right here. This look is turning out to be a hot mess, not gonna lie. So the next thing I'm gonna do is go in with the shade Electric and put that in my inner corner. I'm gonna first use a dry pencil brush just to see how it applies, and then I probably will end up using some Fix Plus just to see if it works any better. Actually, this one's okay. I didn't need Fix Plus with this one, surprisingly. This dark teal is like everywhere. But yeah, just for shits and giggles, I'm just gonna use the shade Cube on my brow bone. It's a white with a pink reflect. It's really pretty, but I really want to know if it actually shows up, so. I'm like not getting any color payoff. Like when the light hits it, you can tell that it has that pink reflect to it, but it's honestly like not pigmented at all. This look is kind of a hot mess. Not kind of, it is. This look is a hot mess. This is not something that I would ever walk outside wearing, because this is, I mean, forget the fact that I have fallout and whatnot, but just the way that these didn't blend very well. This shade Adorn is like not pigmented at all. I literally had to douse my brush in Fix Plus to get any of this color payoff. The amount of fallout is, I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And I was being careful too. I did what they recommended on their Instagram page with going in very lightly, because they are very powdery and very pigmented. You don't need a lot on your brush. But even so, like, the Modern Renaissance is powdery, but it's nowhere near as bad as this one. So anyway, I'm going to wipe away this powder, put some mascara on, finish the rest of my face, and I will be right back. Alright you guys, so that completes this look. I'm pretty disappointed with the way that this palette performed. I had very high expectations. I went into this demo optimistic that it was gonna work for me and that I wouldn't let other reviewers' comments and videos cloud my judgment on this, but unfortunately it just, I got too frustrated when I was using this. The shades that I tried using in my transition just didn't really, they didn't work for me. And the metallic shade Adorn, honestly, there was literally no color payoff with a dry brush, and I had to douse my brush with Fix Plus just to get it to apply the way you see it on my eyes right now, and it's still not very pigmented, so that was a major disappointment. I was surprised by the greenish metallic shade Electric. What you see in my inner corners was a dry brush without Fix Plus, so that surprised me. I wasn't expecting it to be that pigmented, but the shade Cube, I mean, there's like hardly any color payoff. Like, you can see a little bit of a pink reflect to it, but I wasn't that impressed with it. Overall, I love the shades in this palette. I think it's stunning. I love what Norvina did in terms of picking the shades and the artistic creativity that went into this palette, and the fact that it's, you know, the sister palette to the Modern Renaissance, but in terms of execution and how this palette was manufactured, not impressed. I am very underwhelmed by this. It honestly kills me to say that. Anastasia Beverly Hills is one of my favorite makeup brands. I've been using their products for years and years and years. I know that every makeup brand has hits and misses. Unfortunately, this was a miss for me. But that's not to say that if they do fix the formula or however this was manufactured, I will probably be repurchasing this just to see if anything has changed. You know, I love the colors in this that much that I'm willing to repurchase it again after I know that things have been fixed and I'm not going to get the same issues that I had today in terms of blending this out. So, you know, I will still continue to purchase ABH products. You know, I'm not going to knock the brand just because they had a major mess up in terms of this one item. I'll continue to use their products, hands down. It's a damn shame that this palette had to suck. Had high expectations. So yeah, I'm a little sad because, I mean, the colors are beautiful. I just hate the way that they applied. Anyway, with that said, I will probably be returning this to get my money back, and maybe in a couple months or so, when they've released new batches, other reviews come out on it, and the reviews are positive, then I will probably think about repurchasing this for myself. So yeah, but for now, won't be using this. My heart's broken a little bit. I'm pretty sad. But yeah. So there you have it. I wanted to give you guys my 100% honest opinion and review of this palette. I know that there are so many other YouTubers that have done reviews on this palette, and majority of them had the same issues that I had. But yeah, it is what it is. But as I said, I will continue to use Anastasia products. I still love the brand. I'm not going to knock them in any way, shape, or form just because they had one mess up. It happens. It's life. You can't be perfect all the time. So it's just a little disappointing. That's all. But I know Norvina works very, very hard in creating all of her amazing products, and I know that she'll fix this. I know she will. I have faith. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have any ideas or suggestions on what I should do next. And please like this video and give me a thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.